Hey guys, I'm kind of behind whenever it comes to week of books and review. Didn't do one last week, and so I'm gonna kind of go over that stuff now. And I'm not gonna do them in the order that I read them because I have no idea what order they were, and they're just kind of piled here. So I did end up finishing Embraced by Jessica Shervington, which is on MP3 disc. And I listened to this in my car. This is obviously an angel book. It's read by Rebecca McCauley. And once again, when it comes to these audiobooks or just listening, whatever, I can't stand the female voice trying to be a man's voice. I wish that they could just get a man to say the man stuff. I don't know, it bothers me. But overall, I thought this was very, very, very good. I actually think that I preferred listening to it over reading it. Um, I'm not really sure exactly why, other than I feel like all of the descriptions of the angel stuff, I just felt like I probably would, I don't know, I felt like it would be muddied if I had read it. Like, I don't know if, I probably would have had to, like, read over it a few times to, like, get all of the information. So I think I preferred listening to it. Because there is a lot of information about, like, the Grigori, and which is who this girl is supposed to be. She's supposed to be a Grigori, which is human and angel mixed together. But I don't know. I just think that I preferred listening to it, and so I did end up actually ordering the second book on. I ended up being an audio book because Amazon didn't have MP3. So, and I will show that in a haul. But I don't know. I just preferred it. But what this is this girl is friends with a guy that she's kind of got feelings for, but they're just friends, and they exercise and work out and train and do all this stuff together. But he kind of has a reason why he's doing all this with her. Uh, but altogether, it turns out that this girl is not just a human, normal girl. She is a mix between a human and an angel. And so you kind of find out all of that and what all that means and what she's going to do, and she struggles with knowing that that is who she is. There's action, there's romance. Overall, like I said, it was really good. I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars. uh, I read Below Stairs, which I read this past week, by Margaret Powell. It's the classic kitchen maid's memoir that inspired Upstairs, Downstairs, and Downton Abbey. And I've had this, I think, on my shelf for a while now, I think. And I don't know. I personally enjoyed this book very, very much. I mean, it's not a very thick book at all. It's short. I think it's just barely 200 pages. Yeah. But it was really, really good. It's the story of Margaret and her beginnings, where she came from, how she got into um, service, and just like the stories that they know from being servants in these people's homes. Aw, there's a bluebird on my back porch. But I don't know, it's just funny because it's like there's funny stuff and there's serious stuff, and it just gives you that little bit of glimpse and into their lives and what it was like. I mean, when we're talking these type of people who were in this kind of service, it was their lives. They lived and breathed service because there pretty much was no outside life. Every day, all day, they had to work in this other person's home. And, there were stipulations that, like, I know for her, she had to be in by 10 p.m. if she was out somewhere. That was it. She had to be in by 10 p.m. So it was like, even though they're adults, they have a curfew. So it just was interesting to find out more. I mean, I've watched Upstairs, Downstairs, and Downton Abbey, and I really, really enjoy both shows. But this was like even more information. I don't know. I just really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if everybody would think this was a wonderful book, but I personally just really enjoyed it because I enjoyed learning the ins and outs and the little inside stories, and I don't know. It was very interesting. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I did read American Born Chinese by Jean Luen Yang. I don't know if that's how you say that. I got this from my library. I know a lot of people have been talking about this and saying how good it is. And at first I wasn't so sure because at first I didn't know if I really wanted to read it or not. But I saw that my library had it, so I ended up getting it. And I'm so glad that I did. This was really, really neat. When I first got into the story, I think at first it starts with the Monkey King. Yeah, it starts with the Monkey King and like his story and how he's not happy with himself. He wants to be something else. And then we end up meeting gosh, I don't even know what his name is. That's sad. Jin Wang. We end up meeting him, and he's not happy with himself because he's kind of embarrassed by his roots, which is Chinese. He's kind of embarrassed by that. He wants to be more American. He doesn't think, there's a girl that he likes. He doesn't think that she likes him because of who he is and what he looks like. And so he wants to be more American. He wants to look like another guy. And then we end up being introduced to another guy whose name is Danny. And, he is embarrassed because his cousin Chenki comes to visit him, which apparently he does every year. And he's very embarrassed by him because he is very traditional Chinese, the way that he talks and the way that he dresses, the way that he acts. It's just he's really embarrassed by that. And so really what this is all together, all these stories end up coming together by the end. And it's more about, I think, learning to accept yourself, who you are, where you're from, your very roots. And I don't know, like it's giving me chills just thinking back on it because who would have thought, that a book like this would be so deep, but it really truly was. And really I recommend everybody read this book because I don't care what nationality you are or whether you're thin, fat, short, tall, whatever. We do need to learn to accept ourselves, and that's one of the hardest things possible, I think, here on this earth with just human nature in itself. And so I really, really enjoyed this because it just was so, I don't know, it was entertaining, but then by the end of it all, you truly understood what it was about, and there was a very strong message. So I really, really enjoyed it. I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars. And I ended up reading Heart of the Dragon by Gina Showalter, which I think this was 2 weeks ago that I read this, and I don't remember what I gave this, if it was a 4 or a 5. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought this was I don't know, it was a really interesting story because it like took Atlantis, but then it introduces like dragons and vampires and demons and all of these things. Like the gods created these things, they were a mistake, they did not like them, so they put them in Atlantis um to keep them there away from the earth. And then they ended up being able to make humans. And that's really kind of the story behind it. The guy on the front, he makes sure that nobody enters Atlantis that's not supposed to be there. As soon as they enter in, he kills them. But here comes this girl looking for her brother. He disappeared. He knows about Atlantis. He was searching for Atlantis, and he's gone. She doesn't know where he's at. She's worried. She searches for him. She ends up getting through the portal into Atlantis, and for some reason, the guy who all of his life has dedicated to killing people that come through there so that they can't return back to Earth and let people know about this place, he does not kill her. And then it ends up being a very type thing between the two of them. It's adventure, it's romance, it's full of lust. It just was a really, really interesting book, and I really enjoyed it. And in fact, I started reading the second book, which was good. Does not have to do with these characters. It has to do with the other characters. But I didn't end up finishing it because I just got to the point where I was like, I just want to read my own book. So one day I'm going to go back to reading this series. It was very good. And I did finish up Endless Night by Cressley Cole, which is the book that I had to go and buy after I read the first one from my library. And amazing, amazing. I'm pretty sure I gave this 5 out of 5, which I think is what I gave the first book as well. Oh my gosh, this story is amazing, and I cannot wait to read the next book, and I don't know when it's coming out. It's probably like the beginning of next year. I don't know. I hate waiting. It just was so good. Post-apocalyptic world with supernatural elements. I'm not going to get into it because this is the second book in the series. Absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. I've heard people say that they didn't enjoy it, but oh my gosh, like I seriously enjoyed this book. I enjoyed the first one just as much. Amazing. And then I ended up reading a book on my Kindle, but for some reason I can't get it to come alive. It's Seasons in the Sun by Kristen Strassel. If you can see it. And I got this, I think this might have been free. Yeah, it was free. And it's like only 80 pages maybe, or somewhere around there. It's a really short book. And I typically don't get the books that are that short, even when they're free. Unless they're like a novella that's connected to another series or something that I'm reading. But for some reason I thought, ooh, Seasons in the Sun, she's in a bathing suit. It's probably like a really cute beach read or something. And the actual book or series that it belongs to actually surprises me, which I haven't read the first one, but I did buy it because I'm very interested in where this story is going. But this girl lives on an island with her mom. She's very secluded from everything, very naive. She is homeschooled. She doesn't really know famous people or like normal things that a kid her age would. I think she's 14. There is a couple of kids that come to the island who I think are famous people's kids or something. They're twins, boy and a girl, 17. And for some reason, the boy takes an interest in her. And so this is kind of like a cute little story of their relationship and how it begins and where it starts to go. And then apparently the actual first book of the series, I consider this like a prequel, has supernatural elements to it, and I so totally did not see that coming. You don't get any hint of that at all in this book. I mean, at all. But whenever I read the synopsis for the first one, I was like, what the heck? This is weird. But anyway, I read that. And then I am reading Losing It by Cora Carmack right now. And I think I'm like 67%, 68% through at the moment. And oh my gosh, this is an amazing book. I am loving it. I am loving it. And the tension and I don't know, it's like crazy, like all the stuff that's going on. I'm loving it. That's all I'm going to say for right now. And I'm also reading Radiant Shadows by Melissa Marr, which is the 4th book in the Wicked Lovely series. I need to get this series done so I can just go ahead and get rid of the books. I've enjoyed the whole series. I mean, the whole series. I think I've given 4 out of 5 stars for every book, except for the first one. I might have given it 5 out of 5. Love it. I don't want to really say too much about it. I mean, not that these give away anything. I don't think. They kind of just build on each other, but it's like you could read them out of order. Technically, I don't recommend that, but you kind of could. Kinda. I don't know. But anyway, this is about Annie and Devlin and their story and where it's going. And it's been a really good book. I have really enjoyed it. It's just like building up to a huge climax, and I don't know what to expect. And then there's another book after this. So I don't know, but I really, really am enjoying those two books at the moment. So that's it, and I will see you guys later.